Fred Rachani of TSC News here to present y'all with our Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao preview. I had a chance to sit down with Tony Shultz, fight promoter extraordinaire, the man that literally wrote the book on fight promoting. Y'all should definitely check it out. We originally did this as a video interview, but unfortunately we had some issues with video, a little bit with audio as well. So if you hear a little bit of popping, we do apologize in advance, but trust me, this is one interview, one preview you don't want to miss. Some tremendous insight from Tony here. And I'm excited. I thought I couldn't get more excited for the fight of the century, and I got even more excited talking to Tony. I hope you do too. And of course, stay tuned in just a couple weeks. We'll have in-depth coverage, an in-depth recap of Mayweather versus Pacquiao. If you have any thoughts on what Tony has to say, on what I have to say, hell, I want to hear what you have to say. Leave a comment below, tweet us, Facebook us, do what you got to do. And if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to click the like button. And please feel free to subscribe. Without further ado, here is our Pacquiao Mayweather preview. You did think this fight would eventually happen, but did you think it would take this long, considering the amount of money this is set to generate?
Absolutely. I mean, Mayweather has 2 fights left on his Showtime/CBS contract. He's not been doing a million pay-per-view fight of Alvarez, who already had a big following. There's really no other welterweights that can generate this kind of buzz. And honestly, Mayweather's not been making the money on the back end like he was supposed to. Contrast that with Manny Pacquiao, who's been fighting over Macau because he doesn't want to pay U.S. foreign taxes. And Bob thought he could, make Chris Algieri into a household name. One of them that did terrible. I mean, Algieri got knocked down, I think, 6 or 7 times. Everybody just kind of brushed it off. This was really the last fight for both of them. Everybody knew it. Really, the sticking point was Mayweather wants Mayweather Promotions to run everything. Really that sophisticated of a boxing promotions company. Bob is Bob. Bob's always been Bob, always going to be Bob. And you've got a lot of egos. You've got governing bodies involved. You've got entourages involved. You've got everybody wanting tickets involved. I mean, we're less than 2 weeks away and the deal's still not done. So,
And when you say deal, people that haven't been following the story, can you just elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, negotiations for get what amount of tickets, who's going to sit where, how they're going to, Manny's got a whole entourage of people. Philippines. They're talking, there's still deals with the press, who gets press credentials, who doesn't. They're charging fans for the weigh-in. All these things are still in negotiation. I mean, it's still a fluid situation. In fact, a text message earlier went along with a story that came out yesterday where they've set prices now, but the tickets aren't actually on sale. In fact, if you go buy a ticket off a secondary website like SeatGeek.com, for example, they're preliminary tickets. I mean, they're saying, I will sell you a ticket if I get it in my hand, but I don't have it in my hand yet, so you're basically buying a voucher to get a ticket if it comes through.
Wait, hang on. So you're saying we're 2 weeks away from arguably the biggest fight of all time, at least from a money perspective. Tickets aren't even available yet for the general public. Is this unprecedented?
Yes. The closest thing to this was Lewis versus Tyson at the Pyramid in Memphis. Another deal where Showtime and HBO had to come together, but it wasn't even this complicated. I mean, you had 2 well-known, well-established promoters who had an idea of what they were doing. In this case, you've got the lead promoter, which is basically company as much as they are a licensing company. I mean, Mayweather Promotions is basically put together to make money off the t-shirt sales, concessions, licensing of his image, additional ticket sales, back things like that. It's not built as an actual promotions company as much as it is a licensing company who's running the negotiations with MGM. And, I mean, anybody who knows MGM and how Kurt Kerkorian built MGM knows. I mean, he's a hardcore negotiator. I mean, he's the Donald Trump kind of guy. He gets what he wants, and you gotta get in their face to get what you want. And I'm not sure that that's exactly happening right now. I think that there's a lot of him and Han and almost the bickering instead of hard numbers. Lay it down. What's the bottom line? Let's make this work. Let's get these tickets out there. Like I said, egos are a funny thing in this business. They really, $75 million gate doesn't necessarily mean a lot to people as it is, I got my way on this fight. So I don't know.
That's very interesting. So let's just say this fight, we got a clear-cut winner. Pay-per-view does amazing. It breaks the record of Mayweather and De La Hoya from back in the day. Could you still see some issues between all parties after the fight?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you this. I can't give out names because we talk in confidentiality, but a friend of mine actually is one of the top executives at a governing body, and they're not even going to Vegas because of how crazy this is. C.J. Ross, a Nevada judge who has judged both Mayweather and Pacquiao fights, got a lot of hell for her decisions on both Mayweather and Pacquiao fights, whatnot. We were talking at dinner, and she was just telling me that the refs and the judges are going to be under such intense scrutiny because at the MGM Grand, the Garden Arena, the perimeter is so small that judges and refs who are actually aren't allowed in the perimeter until their fight comes up. They have to go to a separate room outside of the arena and watch it on a monitor. And then when their fight comes up, they come in, sit next to the set up, to do their job. So that perimeter is going to be so confined, and it's going to be so chaotic and so hectic. I mean, you've got the top governing bodies there. You're going to have the in the world, the top judges in the world. You're going to have the Nevada Commission. You're going to have a very select amount of the top press media. And then it's not even just American press, but I mean, you've got a ton of Filipino press as well. So there's just going to be this fluid situation. And then, I mean, unless it's a decisive victory as far as who wins, like a knockout stoppage or, something that just screams this person won, one side is going to claim that the other side fixed it, and Bob's Bob, and Lynn, Mayweather's confidant, and they've got that attitude, and I don't know that anything is going to get resolved on this night. I'll be happy if we just get 17,000 fans into the MGM Grand Arena at this point, to be honest.
So I'd imagine security might also be quite a bit of a concern for everybody.
About 80% of all the Nevada State Patrol officers are going to be in and around MGM that night. They're going to call in people from every post. They're going to call in from every agency that they can find. Just because of the animosity. I mean, I just promoted a fight at Madison Square Garden. About a month ago now, and just had a kid from Philly versus a kid versus New York, and we had 3 fights in the crowd. Just both of the kids, they're 3 fights into their career, nothing big at all, and we had to bring security just to calm the 2 sides down. So this is, there's going to be fireworks. Period.
And say that there's a great fight, and it's
Yeah.
really close, and it could have gone either way, or there's a draw. From a promoter's perspective, it's like, great, we could do a rematch and make even more money. But this is a unique situation because HBO and Showtime are coming together.
I'm not either of these promoters look at this like, good, we can make more money off of this again. I'm not even sure that they know how much money they're going to make off of this fight. I really don't. I mean, the pay-per-view has been priced aggressively. You've got pretty much all the hotel sold out. You've got a great fanfare flocking in from all over the world. True. But you've got egos. And fighters' egos. I mean, the journalists who follow these guys, who follow Mayweather and who follow Pacquiao, have their vested interests in this as well. So I think the promoters are feeling a tremendous amount of responsibility here, that their fighter wins, and that their fighter wins convincingly, and they walk away, with a knockout and are considered. I'm not sure that if it's close, we're probably going to see more finger pointing and blaming, like Don King did after Tyson got knocked out the first time by Douglas. He tried he the body to overturn that knockout because he said the referee didn't start counting until 3 seconds in, and so it was actually 13 seconds time he knocked Douglas down. I think there's going to be that sort of like hip hop rivalry sort of thing,
like East West Coast kind of Death Row Records,
yeah,
Bad Boy. Yeah.
Absolutely. This is not, Bad Boy and Death Row aren't going to get together and make a compilation together after their world tours and say, hey, let's make more money together. I mean, they hate each other, period. This is, it's one of those kind of deals. Whoever loses is going to be very upset about it, and they're probably going to want to, they're going to want to rematch, but I don't know that the winner or their promoter will, honestly.
True, but let's just say Floyd Mayweather gets upset by Pacquiao, right? And I think at this point it might be considered an upset. Don't you think, too, that would also bring more intrigue in his fights? Because on one hand, it leaves the door open for a rematch. Not saying that they will come together for a rematch, but it leaves the door open for a rematch where they can make even more money. And it also kind of puts interest in Floyd Mayweather's last couple of fights because you look at it and say, okay, is this the last time we're going to be watching him?
Well, here's the deal, though, okay? So I've been getting text messages across the board, media, press, boxing insiders, governing bodies, casual fight fans. Everybody's been emailing me, and they're not texting and emailing me questions as much as they are opinions that seem to be wrapped in a question that they want me to answer, to basically agree that they're right kind of thing. So there's a fine line there. But even the running thing right now, I'm not sure if this is going to change, but right now I got several text messages just yesterday from casual fans who don't watch boxing per se, but I'm interested in this. But each of the text messages I got basically ended this way, paraphrasing. Both of them are past their prime. I wish this fight would have happened 5 years ago, but I'm going to watch anyway because it's intriguing. So what that tells me is no matter what happens for either fighter, I don't think that there's a lot of longevity after this. I think that, in my personal opinion, I think that you're seeing sort of decrescendo now. I mean, this will be the crescendo, and it'll start going down of pay-per-view TV, pay-per-view boxing, things like that. I think after this fight's done, you're going to have, sort of a decline in the lower weight divisions, hopefully a reemergence in the heavyweight division. I really believe that the heavyweights are going to start, bringing in attention again. They're going to start revitalizing that division. I think that everything's going to move basically from, HBO, Showtime, ESPN, PBC, to more streaming, more social media storytelling. So I think that whether Pacquiao goes, this is their ride into the sunset. They're both going to be very wealthy, and they're not going to have to fight anymore. And honestly, I mean, the life of because they're fighting at 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I mean, you get guys who start at our age, but most of the best start at a young age. These guys are 36, 37 years old. They've been doing this 25, maybe 30 years, at that. It's hard to wake up in the morning, work, and then go in and then spar 100 rounds for a fight and stay hungry, especially when you've dominated 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different weight divisions. You've got all the belts. I mean, honestly, who's the next guy that's going to be worthy of fighting Mayweather or Pacquiao? see any names out there. I mean, different pundits will say, well, Matisse or this person or that person or GGG or whatnot. I don't see that this is going to. I don't. It's very difficult to match the hype of this over and over and over again. Sometimes you just got to take your money and let it go and just enjoy the rest of your life not having to fight anybody anymore.
Now, on to the fight itself in the ring. How do you see this one playing out?
Okay, so I have to give a disclaimer. Everybody I'm talking to as far as inside boxing thinks that Mayweather's going to win, that his defense is just going to wear out Pacquiao. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, I was in the gym when Pacquiao was training for Mayweather, and for De La Hoya, and I saw how Mayweather fought De La Hoya. And Pacquiao was much more aggressive. As far as common opponents, they've got 4 or 5 common opponents, Cotto, etc. But I think that Pacquiao is going to be much more aggressive, take the fight to Mayweather. I don't see Mayweather's legs being as crafty as they once were. They're not as those angles aren't as clear cut anymore. His Philly style defense isn't really as prominent as it once was. So Pacquiao's going to try to get him into a fight versus into a boxing match, if you would, as far as the skill goes and the technicality goes. And if Pacquiao does that, which I think that Roach is training him on that. I mean, cutting off the ring, being aggressive, getting him against the ropes, and then being relentless to the body and then to the head, and then doing your half step back when he tries to counter it and then getting back in there. I mean, that's probably being just beat into him every minute of every day right now. And if he's able to execute that game plan, I'm not sure Mayweather's going to be able to run from that, because Mayweather's really good at running enough to wear you out and then, delivering enough punches, not for the knockout, but definitely, to score on the scorecard and put in flurries. So I've got Pacquiao. I'm going to go a 9 on this.
Interesting. And you and I talked about a week ago off the air, and you mentioned to me a very interesting figure. I straight up asked you, what do you think the economic impact is going to be on the state of Nevada with this fight? And you didn't say millions. You said the word billion. You sticking to that?
Absolutely. I mean, the hotel rooms do you have on the Strip? What is it? 25,000? I mean, I don't even know. I know that the MGM 3,000 rooms, Bellagio's up there at 3,000 or 4,000, and then you've got City Center, which is a whole city into itself. I mean, you've got 30,000 hotel rooms, and pretty much all of them are sold out right now at a premium price, not at the normal $65 a night plus Wi-Fi price. No, I mean, you're talking about minimum $150 and average price of about $300 to $400 a night. On fight night itself, the price fluctuates. I think they're more at like $800 a piece. So you've got that kind of money coming in for the actual hotel rooms just to stay there. Then you've got the economic impact of people shopping. Food prices in the casinos is always 3 times as much as it would be at a normal place. So you've got the food prices, you've got the alcohol, which is going to be flowing crazy. You're going to have like rehab, and all the pools are open. That's going to attract 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people down there, partying up, things of that nature. That's not even talking about the off-site betting that's going on. I mean, you're going to have, I would guess, over $1 billion in bets. I was telling you that next to Mayweather's gym in the strip mall, 2 doors down, there's a booking place. And every bookie in that joint, I think there's like 10 or 12 bookies in that joint, all of them have Bentleys. All parking spots for that place, everybody has a Bentley. I'm guessing everybody's going to have a Bentley, a Rolls Royce, and a Lamborghini in their spot, just in case they don't want to drive their Bentley to lunch. The Lamborghini. That's the kind of money we're talking about flowing in. Just people who aren't actually coming to Vegas, just putting money down on their fighter. You're talking about billions of dollars in that week, and not only billions of dollars in that week, talking about, I mean, the casinos are going to be flying in the highest of highest rollers, oil sheiks. You're going to have, captains of industry across Europe. You're going to have, and they're going to be in the city for a week, just, partying it up and gambling and having fun with their friends. So, it's not even just the city. It's going to be everybody who lives in the city too getting a piece of it. It's going to be insane.
Right. So is there anybody, I mean, I'm not saying they'll replace Pacquiao or Mayweather overnight or ever, but is there anybody, maybe like one or two guys we can keep our eye on that maybe we should follow in the next couple of years that perhaps could be the top dog once Mayweather and Pacquiao retire?
I mean, Gennadi's getting some, um, strong fan interest. He's 32 and he's working his way up. Cotto just moved from Top Rank over to Rock Nation, Jay-Z's company, and he's fighting a bum, but he wants to fight for a little while longer. So I mean, Cotto will still be a draw. Alvarez is fighting Kirkland down in Texas, and Alvarez will have a draw in the Latino market, things like that. But as far as Mayweather Pacquiao type, crossover type like that is in the American market. My bet's on the heavyweights. We got to start with the heavyweights. Got to tear that division down, rebuild it from the ground up. Almost kind of like Rocky 3, where you go in the gym, you find the guys who are the hungriest, and you just give them a shot at it. You just no made up titles, no tomato cans fed to them by their promoters. You go find two guys who want to go at it, let them fight. Whoever wins moves from a prospect up to a contender, kind of thing. It'll take a little while, but I really believe that that's going to be the next wave in boxing right now.
Tony, I really do appreciate the time, man. Before I let you go, can you please let us know what you got in the works these next few months in boxing?
I do. Actually, CJ Ross just did an endorsement video for me. I'm waiting on 2 more endorsement videos to come in later tonight, and I'm launching a crowdfund this coming week for my heavyweight fight. I'm going to be putting on a heavyweight fight, Madison Square Garden, New York City this summer. I'm going to grab the top heavyweight prospect out of the U.S. I'm going to grab a top heavyweight prospect out of the U.K. I'm going to let them go at it. No HBO, no Showtime, strictly complete social media. Everything's going to be targeted specifically to the younger generation, just to give them something to hold their hat to, some champions that kind of represent what they're going through and what they believe in. And like I said, my focus right now is heavyweights. I miss them beyond compare. I can't deal with 147, 154 pounders every day anymore. I mean, they're fun to watch, here and there, but they just I got to have some 200, 250 pound guys just going at it and going to war. So yeah, launching the crowdfund, going to do that, put the fight on, and start working vision again.
That's awesome, man. And where can fans find you online as well as all your books?
You can find me at FightTown.net. And Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook are all FightTown. So, hit me up, shoot me a tweet, or shoot me a message on Instagram, or hit me on Facebook, and I'll hit you back.
And if you want to learn about the fight biz, just go on Amazon.com, search Tony Shultz. You'll find all his books, all the great reviews, and hey, you might learn it.
You might. Like I said, I give you everything that I've learned. So, if anybody who wants to go out there and make something of themselves in this business, I'm all for it.